When it comes to making waves in the boxing world, few fighters manage to do it quite like Gervonta "Tank" Davis. The Baltimore native has made a career out of shaking up the scene, bringing unmatched intensity and a ferocious fighting style into every ring he steps into. His latest move, however, has everyone talking and questioning what's next for the champion. Tank's decision to train with renowned trainer Derek James is a bold shift that's left many questioning what this change will mean for his career, especially as he prepares for his upcoming bout with Lamont Roach. Recent footage of Tank's training has surfaced, and it's not just the punches or the speed that have people buzzing. It's the sheer intensity and change in his approach, an unmistakable sign that Tank Davis is preparing to enter a new era of his boxing career. For years, Tank's bond with his former coach, Calvin Ford, seemed unbreakable. Ford was not just Tank's trainer, he was a father figure, a mentor, and a cornerstone in Tank's development from a young, raw talent into one of the most electrifying and feared boxers in the world. Their relationship was solidified in the gritty gyms of Baltimore, where Ford helped guide Tank through the highs and lows of the fight game, ensuring that the young fighter stayed focused despite the pressures of fame and fortune. Ford was there for Tank when nobody else was, pushing him to be his best. But now, everything has changed. Calvin Ford, who once shared a corner with Tank at every fight, has now officially joined Mayweather Promotions. This move has drawn a clear line in the sand, signaling the end of an era for Tank and the beginning of a new chapter. Ford, who has been integral to Tank's success, insists that the decision was professional and not personal, but it's hard to ignore the reality of the situation. He's now working with Floyd Mayweather, training Keshan Davis in hopes of helping him become the fighter to hand Tank his first career loss. The bond that Tank and Ford shared seems fractured beyond repair. Tank understandably views this as a betrayal. The relationship that once served as the foundation of his boxing journey now feels like it's been torn apart, leaving Tank to reflect on what Ford truly meant to him. "When you say Calvin Ford, what does that name mean to you?" Tank was asked, and without hesitation he responded, "Father, father, father." The significance of Ford's role in Tank's life goes beyond boxing. It's about the love and support he provided, a feeling Tank didn't find anywhere else. "I used to walk through the gym looking for Calvin," Tank recalled, noting that he would run from school just to get to the gym. "I'd sleep outside the gym in front of the door, just waiting for him to show me the way." So, why did Ford make the decision to leave Tank's corner and join Mayweather Promotions? Word on the street is that Ford might have been feeling disillusioned by the chaos surrounding Tank's personal life. From legal battles to public controversies, it's clear that Tank's outside-the-ring troubles have affected more than just his personal life. They've also impacted his professional world. Ford, always a stabilizing force in Tank's life, might have felt it was time for a change. Working with Floyd Mayweather and his team could offer Ford the professional stability he's been looking for, something Tank, with his unpredictable lifestyle, hasn't always been able to provide. Tank's legal troubles and personal drama have caused a stir, and it's not hard to see why Ford might have sought a fresh start. There's also the factor of Tank's mounting pressures as he prepares for his next fight. As the tension between Tank and his former coach grew, so did the rivalry between Tank and Floyd Mayweather. It was no secret that Tank and Floyd's relationship had soured over the years. Floyd, who first became involved with Tank as his promoter, often clashed with the young fighter's desire for independence. Tank felt overshadowed by Floyd, who seemed more interested in his own legacy than helping Tank build his own. The tension reached its peak when Floyd and Tank had an infamous falling out before the fight against Pedraza. Floyd had urged Tank to leave Baltimore and relocate to Vegas to avoid distractions, even offering him a penthouse apartment and a new car, but Tank chose to return to his hometown and keep his roots in Baltimore. The rift between Tank and Floyd only deepened from there. While Floyd positioned Tank as one of the rising stars in boxing, Tank often felt as though Floyd didn't give him the same respect that he gave to others. Tank's rise to fame came with many sacrifices, and he often resented the way Floyd used him to boost his own brand. Despite this, Tank continued to work with Floyd for a time, but the relationship was never the same. Eventually, Tank felt that he had outgrown Floyd, and the two fighters began to go their separate ways. Enter Derek James, the man who might just be the key to Tank's next chapter. Known for transforming fighters into champions, Derek James brings a wealth of experience and success to Tank's corner. James has trained elite fighters like Errol Spence Jr. and has earned a reputation for developing fighters with solid fundamentals and an unrelenting work ethic. He's the kind of trainer who knows how to take a fighter to the next level. What's even more intriguing is that James has a history with Tank. He trained Frank Martin, who recently fought Tank, and has spent time studying Tank's style. Instead of trying to figure out how to stop Tank, James now finds himself in the unique position of helping Tank hone his skills for his upcoming fight against Lamont Roach. The footage of Tank's training with James shows a new intensity. The work ethic is evident, and there's a renewed sense of purpose in Tank's movements. James has pushed Tank to refine his technique, work on his weaknesses, and become a more complete fighter. The transformation is evident in his appearance and in the way he approaches his training. For Tank, this change is more than just a shift in coaches. It's a statement to the boxing world that he is ready for whatever comes next. He is ready to face new challenges, and most importantly, ready to silence his critics and prove that he's more than just a knockout artist. But the road ahead is not an easy one. Tank's upcoming fight against Lamont Roach is shaping up to be one of the most important of his career. Roach, a technically skilled and disciplined fighter, has been building a reputation for himself in the boxing world, and he's coming into this fight with something to prove. Roach has been flying under the radar for a while, quietly accumulating victories, but now he faces one of the sport's biggest stars. Roach's footwork and precision make him a dangerous opponent, and he's prepared to give Tank a fight unlike any other. Despite Roach's skills, Tank's power is undeniable. He's known for his explosive knockout ability, but as he gears up for this fight, Tank's mindset is different. He's no longer just looking for a knockout, he's focused on winning, adapting, and evolving with each fight. His change in training under Derek James is a clear indication of his commitment to becoming a more complete fighter. Roach, however, is a challenge Tank cannot afford to underestimate. With Tank's retirement plans looming after 2025, every fight from now on is critical to his legacy. He knows that a single loss in his final year could overshadow everything he's accomplished up until now. His time in the sport is limited, and he's more determined than ever to leave on his own terms. The fight with Roach may not be Tank's last, but it will certainly be one of the most significant. Adding even more intrigue to the situation is the emergence of Keshin Davis, a young fighter who's making waves in the boxing world. Davis, who is now training under Calvin Ford and Floyd Mayweather, has made it clear that he's gunning for Tank. He sees himself as the fighter who will eventually dethrone Tank, and he's not shy about calling out the champion. The rivalry between Davis and Tank has added more fuel to the fire, creating a personal element to their potential future showdown. With Keshin's raw talent and undeniable potential, Tank knows that he has a serious threat on the horizon. As Tank enters this new chapter of his career, there's a renewed sense of purpose. He is no longer the same fighter who first burst onto the scene. He's smarter, more disciplined, and laser-focused on achieving greatness. With Derek James in his corner, Tank is preparing for the toughest challenges yet, and he's leaving no stone unturned in his quest for legacy. Whether it's overcoming the personal tensions in his camp, facing new rivals, or proving that he can still dominate in the ring, Tank Davis is ready for whatever comes next. But first, he has to get past Lamont Roach. The stakes have never been higher, and the pressure has never been greater. Will Tank rise to the occasion and continue his reign, or will the challenges prove too much for the Baltimore native? Only time will tell.